the art of selling the gap. And I see this, like I had a call with someone earlier and I was like, okay, cool. You know what the gap is. And if you don't know what the gap is the imaginary space that you create between where the person is now and where they want to be and where they want to go. So the best way to look at it is if you have a body of water and it's a meter wide, there's a gap from one side to another. It's very easy to jump from one side to another if it's only a meter wide. You don't need any assistance, maybe a little run up, maybe not even. But what I see a lot of people do and what I've noticed is what everyone kind of sleeps on is creating a big enough gap. If you have a fucking 4 mile wide gap of the person they are now and the person they want to be, then there's a huge area that they need help with. They need lots of fucking help to even start to fucking get halfway across the gap and then to finish. So the bigger you can create the gap, the more they need you. The more they need you, the more urgency they have in their life to make a change. And also, if you create a gap that big, their overall outcome, their desired outcome is going to be fucking huge. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be magnificent. And it might even be overwhelming. And it's your job then to make sure that they don't get overwhelmed, but they think that they can actually do it. Your job is to make them feel like they can actually bridge the gap with your help. But again, what I've noticed people do is they go very surface level. They make the gap to be, okay, well, you don't like your job and where you want to be is you want to be in shape or you want to start a business. It's really not a fucking big gap to go from being normal Joe, 9 to 5, to then hopping in and starting a business. Anyone can start a business, especially in the UK. It costs you like £12 to register a business, bomb done. Anyone can get their first customer just from some outreach or word of mouth, bomb done. Like very easy gap. And this is maybe something I can take on board for my own community is bridging the gap, because at the moment the main focus is getting a role, but the role isn't hard to get. Becoming an elite closer is much harder to be. So maybe I need to improve my own gap personally, but I know that I want them to get the outcome of becoming a fucking GOAT closer. But the first hurdle is getting the role. And it's actually a really easy gap to cover and fulfill. So I'm going to change that for myself, and thanks Connor for highlighting that. But to go back to actual gap selling, what I know again that I do very well is I just create this fucking fantasy world and I'll lean into it so many times. So it's okay, where are you at now? I'm working on the tools, I'm working construction, I'm a bricklayer, I'm a chippy, I'm a plumber, I'm any of these things. Okay, cool. And then that's what they are now. But they have so many more deeper layers of themselves, their identity, their internal monologues, their actual thoughts about themselves, that you can go deeper. Okay, so how do you feel about being that? Why are you still doing that? And if you know anything about working in trades, 9 times out of 10, all the other guys that work there are old, decrepit, their backs are fucked, their hands are fucked, their wrists are fucked. They make all right money, but they spend it all on booze or bag or cigarettes or fucking betting, to be honest. They don't really enjoy their relationship. They don't have a wife that they're in a loving relationship with. Maybe their kids, you know, they just put themselves in this box and they've done it forever and that's all they know. They've confined themselves to the analog lifestyle and never pushing out of the analog into the digital. And I did the same thing before. I used to tell myself I'm an analog guy in a digital world until I fucking rewrote my identity, rewrote my belief systems and completely changed. And now I'm all digital. So have a fucking gander at that. But what you tell yourself is what you become. What you consume is what you become. So a lot of these people, they won't be consuming self-help, development, anything that's really going to be beneficial to their life. So you need to be that source of self-help. If they are, even better, because then they're doing the mental masturbation. They're doing the early work that's going to help them get there, but they know that they need help to do the work or to start the work. But they're at least, they've got their head in the right place and they know that there's more from their life. So when you're creating the gap, if you have someone that's already listening to personal development, reading books, doing this sort of stuff, but they don't know where to start, then just fucking go further than 3 to 6 months. Everyone says, where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 6 months? It's like, okay, let's just say you want to become a remote closer or you want to get in shape. Oh, well, I see myself as being 4 kilos heavier and running more, or I see myself as getting a remote sales job. Great. That's your 3 to 6 month goal. I'm not here to talk about small term, short fry, fucking anything. So give me the 12 to 24 month goals. Okay, for example, for me, when I was a few years ago, okay, so where I really want to go, I'm currently working on the tools. I want to build an online business. I want to build a personal brand. I want to get into remote sales. Okay, well, what do you want to do with all that? That's the 6 months sort of goal, right? 6 to 12 months. So what do you want to do with all that? Well, I want to build a personal brand to 1 million followers. I want to start a business that is remote sales coaching. I want to start a clothing brand that is recognized worldwide. I want to live in fucking a penthouse in Miami and have a place in Mexico and have a place in Bali and have a place in Ibiza, Palma. These are all the things that I want. I want to be able to jump in an old Porsche I just bought or an Aston Martin or a fucking dark green Mustang, and I want to drive through California and I drive through the Italian coastline and I want to fucking smoke fat cigars every day and I want to open up a tobacco farm. Like, you get all of these things from someone that they want to do, all of their deepest dreams and desires. Doesn't matter if it's 5 years, doesn't matter if it's 10 years, but just get what they want from their fucking life and make it real. Okay, cool. So Connor, what currently doing? Working on the tools. Doesn't sound like you're really enjoying your life that much. Sounds like the situation with the missus isn't the best. And you got the kid, so you've got to make sure that you have to provide for the kid and your wife. Okay. And it sounds like everyone else on site isn't in the same mindset. I know that some of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Sounds like those 5 people on site probably aren't helping your mental sort of thought processes or your internal monologue. No. Okay, do you want to continue doing this? No. Why? Get them to tell you why. Okay, now you go deeper. Okay, so you've been doing this for a long time, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and where do you want to go? I know you mentioned before you want to build your fitness, you want to build your online presence, you want to get into remote sales, you want to start a personal brand, you want to scale it to 1 million followers, you want to build a business that makes £1 million in revenue in a year. You then want to really fucking grow. You want to then do not only remote sales, community, coaching, but you want to build a fucking worldwide recognized clothing brand that competes with LVMH. You then want to have all of these cars in different countries and have rooftop pools in all of these different places: Mexico, Thailand, Dubai, Ibiza, Mexico, Miami, California. You want to have all of this, right? And how's it going to feel to become that person that can do all that? Well, it's going to be amazing. I'm going to be the person I always wanted to be. I'm going to be able to, finally provide for my family, build a new life, be the, father figure that I wanted to be. Again, I'm pretending like I've got kids, but this is a good way to play on it. And then, okay, cool. And realistically, how would it make you feel when you achieve all that? Oh my God, it would be the wildest desires. It would be like a dream come true. I don't even feel like it would be real. And do you believe that you can do it? Yes. Why? Because I have this God complex. I have a superiority fucking syndrome where I feel like I was made for more, that God didn't put me on this earth just to fuck around and, not make something of my life. I feel like I was put here to really not change the world, but change my life, my friends' life, my family's life, my kids' life, and have a bit of generational wealth. I'm not talking 100 years or 100 generations, but like at least my kids and my kids' kids, I want to set them up for life and have, a big podcast with fucking the Western Way on and have my Western Boulevard clothing brand and Connor Weston is a household name. All of these things. I want to write a movie. I want to do this. Find out what they want, because everyone wants everything. Everyone wants something. And if they don't, then just dig deeper. Dig deeper. What is it you want? Why do you want that? How's it going to make you feel? How's it going to make you feel when you actually achieve that? Do you feel like you can actually achieve that with the person you're at now, with the mindset you're at? No. Perfect. So you're solidifying their limiting beliefs and their position right now with who they are. But you're also giving them the reality that you can actually become this person. You can actually get to the heights that they want to do as long as they put in their work, they commit to themselves, and they really fucking truly believe it. Because if they don't believe it, then they'll never get it. So the point is, if you look at the gap of I'm Connor, I'm working in the trade and I want to get into remote sales, tiny gap, fucking tiny, pointless, worthless gap. There's going to be no pain, there's going to be no urgency, there's going to be no feeling, there's going to be no buying. Whereas if you build Connor the tradesman into Connor the fucking household name, who everyone knows, who can't even walk down the street anymore, who's got 1 million followers, makes at least $1 million a year in revenue, has multiple properties with rooftop pools and fancy cars and a podcast and a clothing brand that's internationally recognized, that's a fucking huge gap. And with a huge gap, you need a huge fucking support system. You need to make huge commitments. And then imagine that outcome of how much would you pay for that outcome, Connor? I would pay fucking anything because that is what I want. Okay, cool. So when I tell you this program's 5K, it really doesn't make a dent, does it? No. Okay, that makes so much more sense. Now I can justify spending 5, 10K on whatever it is that you're selling because the outcome is so much more. If the outcome is small, then the value is going to be small. Remember, the perceived value of something, as long as it's fucking huge, then the actual cost won't make a fucking difference. So make their fucking wildest dreams and desires come true. Make them feel like they can actually fucking achieve it. And then when you pitch the price, it won't seem that deep. And that's why I get no objections. Because all I do is I fucking rub their ego like it's going out of fashion, like a genie in a bottle, rub that shit until the genie comes out. Once you've got the genie out, there is no chance that they're going back to their shit 9 to 5 working on the tools and the family they don't like and the wife that doesn't give them head anymore. Like, it's not happening. They're not going to go back to that because you've already fucking given them a glimpse of hope of the fantasy life that they feel like they can achieve. So there you go. That's how you actually build the fucking gap. Build it bigger, make it so they have to fucking get a bridge across and you're the bridge to get them there. Because if you're not, then what the fuck are you playing at? Anyway, here's another solo pod. Come up to Cowboy Closers. We actually teach you how to get a remote sales role and to build the life that you want and to build a personal brand and everything else that you don't currently have. And remember, if you're watching this, I had 6K followers in January and I'm 100K now, motherfuckers. So suck on that. If you want to fucking join the rise, we're like a stock that's just floated on the NASDAQ. We're going up, motherfuckers. We're going up. This isn't a WeWork situ. This is a Connor Weston situ. So if you want to join Cowboy Closers, get in the emails in the link, hit my Instagram. And if you're still fucking here, then subscribe, you pricks, because 94% of you don't subscribe. I'm not sat here in front of people at a fucking restaurant in Ulu with a camera chatting shit for no reason. So get my subs up so I can monetize YouTube. Love you, miss you, kiss you. It's time to live like a Western in a bit. Goodbye.